we've prepared a little bit of a presentation to discuss the plans that we have and share with you the expectations and the guidelines so that you can feel really prepared. And what I'm going to do is share my screen with you so you can see it. So first, I want to really thank so many of you for joining us today. And I want to remind you again, we're recording this for cable. And thank you to Tamara. She and her team have done such tremendous work since March, since all of this started, helping us to get so many things up and on the web and on cable so that as many seniors and residents as possible can benefit from all of the virtual programming that we've put together. Today, we're talking about what we're calling a phasing in here at the Walpole Council on Aging. And we want to kind of set the stage for what we're calling our phase one. Just like the governor and the state have talked about phasing in, we're talking about phasing in too. And it seems really, really important to emphasize to everyone. And many of you on this call know, because you've participated in a lot of our virtual programming and get the e-newsletters, that we haven't been closed. We may have had our doors closed, but we have been here and working throughout this time. We've been operating continuously since March. I don't think there was a single day that there wasn't a staff member here physically in the building. And we've been working throughout that time, providing as many services and programs to the public as we possibly could, whether it's, kind of going around supporting the ongoing efforts of the food pantry here in town. Debbie's great updates that she sends over email, and if you're not getting those, we can help you sign up for them. They're wonderful and informative, and they have all the links for the virtual programming. We, since day one, have been providing well-being checks over the phone, or if people are letting us know that people are having problems out in the community, trying to work not just with seniors, but all community residents to help connect them to community resources. Our staff's been here both on site and remotely, again, since all of this started until now. Sherry created such a great schedule of virtual programming, and I continue to hear such great feedback, not just from our residents, but from other towns and other community partners that we have about how well we're doing that. And I think, it really says a whole lot about Sherry and the team that immediately we leap right into, well, what can we do? We've got to look at it differently. And so we've tried to pivot throughout this process. We've tried really hard to maintain our connections to you, our community, and make referrals where needed out in the community. So just to show you kind of the scope that we've had, just in outreach alone, from March until the end of last month, we've made an average of 950 contacts each month to our community members. If you want to compare that to last year, the average in that same time frame was 412. This is an astounding increase. It definitely speaks to what the department has done, the increased need we've seen in the community, and our response out in the community. We've prepared a little graph here for you too that really illustrates the difference. The lower line is last year, and the top line is where we've been since March. Now, we always see a little lag come summer because that's when some of our friends go to Cape. They're out doing other things, they're vacationing. So this is traditionally what we would call a quiet time. But even though it's, quote, a quiet time, look how high that top line still is above where we usually would be. So I just want to emphasize the great work that the department has done and really trying to respond to the needs of the community. You've probably heard that we've been supporting the Walpole Community Food Pantry and their distribution efforts. Last week, we held the 10th distribution. That has served 1,600 residents, not necessarily unique residents, but 1,600 people total have benefited through that program since this all began. And I listed there kind of what the distributions include. So if you aren't familiar or you haven't received a distribution, that's what we're including, a mix of perishables and non-perishables. And it has really allowed us to provide service, especially to seniors who we didn't really want going out shopping or going out into those kinds of situations where you might find bare shelves and also put yourself at risk, and bring the food to them. It's been such a wonderful partnership. So again, I just want to emphasize that we haven't been closed, and I don't want people to think of this as a reopening, but as a phasing in. We've never been closed. We're not reopening. we're phasing in new pieces as we go. And we wanted to look at every available resource that we had relative to this. So this is just a sampling of some of the resources that we utilized. And I hope this conveys to you that you've been at the center of the planning since we started talking about, well, what will this look like? How will we do this? And we've been thinking about this for a long time, probably since May. We've been participating in calls statewide and region-wide to talk about what this would look like in our centers. So there's some links here. This will get posted to the web and we will have it available if people want to go and read these resources, but this is some of the guiding information that we use. Ooh, let me go back. So in preparation for setting this strategy, we prioritized our essential critical services. What were the most important pieces that we need to kind of phase back in first? And those were things that we could offer outside, medical transportation, and any appointments that have to be held in person. So looking at how we're continuing to offer services, Shine, we've talked with them. Marv and Kathy are fantastic Shine counselors. They are very comfortable continuing to do this remotely right now. So they're going to continue providing their resources, all of the information, talking to people about their insurance. They'll continue doing that over the phone. And Kathy Bento, who provides the foot care appointments here, she has been meeting with people in their own homes and at this time wants to continue doing things that way as well. So if you need to make an appointment for Shine or an appointment for foot care, you can definitely reach out to us. We'll connect you with Laurel. So kind of the next steps and what is going to happen next, we have prepared a kind of a phase 1 plan. We've provided that to administration and to the Board of Health, and we have a meeting tomorrow actually with the Board of Health to finalize some of the little very nitty-gritty pieces as far as disinfection or protocol or procedure are. So that will happen tomorrow. At this time, the center doors themselves are going to remain closed to the public. We won't have any drop-in programming or appointments. We will begin offering some outdoor programming on the patio, which will be weather permitting, of course, and a schedule that will be subject to change. We're kind of planning as we go, seeing what works and adjusting where we need to, kind of continuing what's worked for us so far, kind of pivoting as we need to pivot. At this time, we're only going to offer this programming to Walpole residents. Continue to be driven by phase back to earlier stages as the public health data dictates. And these kinds of policies will be in place until the Commonwealth reaches that phase 4 of the governor's state reopening plan. So thinking about, one question we received when we talked to the board about this last week is, well, who should attend? If the virtual programs are working for you right now, consider continuing to do things virtually. And when you're registering, think of others when you're planning on which things to participate in. With limited numbers and availability, those time slots may fill up fast, and it would be wonderful to offer them to many people instead of just to a few. So think of others if you can when you're considering what to sign up for. And with all of this, we're definitely hoping you can be flexible and patient with us as we move through. So this is kind of what we're imagining will be the requirements for participation. These 7 categories of things that you'll need to be aware of, have information and feel comfortable with before you came for any outdoor programming. The first of those is that you're going to need to register in advance. The pre-registration piece is going to be required. You're going to have to call in advance to register for a scheduled program, and you'll have to complete a brief health questionnaire when you call. And if you're not feeling well the day of a program that you've scheduled to attend, we're going to ask that you really consider, should I stay at home today? That's something we should all be thinking about every time we're going somewhere right now anyway. Am I really feeling well? And if you're not, staying home is a good choice. The next thing we're going to ask you to do is to review and sign an updated general waiver liability release form. We're going to have this available online for you. We can email it to you. We can drop it off in your mailbox. We want you to review it and sign off on it. And it's going to be required before you can come for a program. You can bring the signed copy with you. This is a couple of slides of that new waiver. Again, it's going to be available online and we can mail it to you, but we wanted to include it here. The addition to this is some COVID specific language. We want you to really think about the risk that you're taking coming and participating in something and acknowledge it through this waiver. Here's the rest of it. We kept in things related to behavior and photos, and we hope you're okay with photos because we are definitely going to want to take pictures to celebrate that we've got some programming happening in person. We're also going to require face coverings. We do have a limited supply of donated fabric face coverings here available if someone needs a face covering, but it's going to be required that people have a face covering to come. Anybody who's participating on the patio should wear their face covering from the parking lot to the patio, and then from the patio back to the parking lot. We have set up reserved seating spots on the patio that should allow for safe distancing so that at participant discretion, you could remove your face covering for the class. We're also going to take a temperature using an infrared thermometer, and that'll be done by COA staff prior to the class start time. We're going to help you sign in. Instead of having the kiosk to sign into, we're going to use the handheld scanners that we have. You've probably seen them if you've ridden the bus. They look like this. They scan your key tag just the same way you would scan it at the desk, and that'll allow us to get an in-person count of exactly who was here that day. If you don't have a key tag, we can certainly prepare one in advance, but all participants are going to need to sign in for contact tracing purposes. Sanitizer will be available on the patio, and we're going to ask that you sanitize your hands prior to taking your reserved seat where you are. We want clean hands. And we're going to also ask that at all times you're exercising that word that we all know now, but whoever thought we'd use the word social distancing, 6 feet of space at all times. Limited programming will take place on the patio in the rear, and it'll be open to Walpole residents only, and we won't be able to accept same-day registrations at this time. And the way we've set up the chairs, there will be a maximum of 12 participants. Again, we're reserving those chairs for you, and they've been properly spaced. And I can't emphasize enough that where the chair is where the chair needs to stay to make sure that everyone around you is safe. And the staff will fill in those seats as participants arrive. So you might not have a choice of seat, but all seats have a great view of the leader. And here's a picture we took out on the patio when we did that spacing. So you can see that there's plenty of room, and you can definitely get a good view of the instructor who'll be up on that elevated stage area. The plan is that we'll open the patio 10 minutes before the program begins, and then we'll close it 10 minutes after the program. And that'll allow for our team to have appropriate time to set up and disinfect chairs before, and also to take down and disinfect chairs after, in order to help everyone be safe. Restrooms will be available, but we're going to really emphasize that you should be using them for emergencies only. You're encouraged to plan in advance when you can. We'll have to grant you access to the building, and it'll be limited just to the larger public restroom on the first floor, not that single restroom that's over closer toward the Murphy room in the main entrance. The programs we're offering in the month of August will be Sit and Be Fit with Renee. For that program, you do need weights, and so you can certainly bring your own weights, or Renee suggests that soup cans work just as well. Also, we're happy to welcome back Robin Lamperti, who's doing her yoga class as well. The patio is a public space, much like the town common or a park. So if a group is planning that they'd like to gather in a socially distant way, we want you to call in advance to confirm that there isn't a program planned. so that things don't kind of overlap on the patio. And we will proactively set up seating on the patio for that kind of socialization that you're looking for. We ask that you utilize that seating to enjoy your time together. And again, kind of X marks the spot, leave your chair where it is to assure those social distancing. We'll keep an eye on that seating to keep it disinfected. But if you give us a call, it'll give us a heads up that you're planning to come. And that might also prevent an overlapping of different groups of people trying to utilize the seating at the same time. At this time, I think virtual programming has saved so much of what we've been able to offer, because we didn't just have to stop doing Zumba or stop doing yoga. It's really been well received, and it's not the same as seeing our friends in class, but it's a way that we can stay connected, and this programming is much more accessible. People can look at it after the class time. You can look at it when it's convenient for you, and all of those programs are posted online and on cable. So if you are able to continue participating virtually, especially those people who might be at a particular risk for COVID, we really want you to stay connected that way. We're going to keep looking for new ways to offer more diverse offerings virtually this way. We continue to provide patient support to people who need assistance getting connected to those programs. You can participate in most things over the phone, like many of you are right now. You don't need a computer or a smartphone or a tablet to participate. Most things you can listen in on, and most of our programming is recorded and uploaded and available on demand. The other thing that people are really anxious probably to get started on again is transportation. So what we're going to continue offering support with the vehicles for the food pantry. And when we do phase this in, we're going to only offer it for medical appointments first. It feels like people might have been away from their physicians and those appointments for a bit of time, and we want to get them back to see their physicians. And we're going to continue the same model we had, where we service Walpole, Norwood, Foxborough, and Dedham for appointments on set days and times that are still to be determined. We're going to have to run those at very, very reduced capacity, 2 or 3 people, ideally 2. And they'll have to sit, passengers will have to sit in identified seats and follow the directions of the driver. Drivers are going to disinfect those reserved seats between rides and do a daily disinfection. But we're not sure exactly when that's going to start yet. It might require some modifications to the vehicles, and we're trying not to bite off too much at once. So we're phasing in outdoor programming, phasing in medical transportation. As always, we're asking for your patience. We created these plans with your safety in mind. And we want to just point out that we know that not all seniors are in that most vulnerable category for this virus. There are some healthy, not very at-risk people who really just want to get out and see their friends again. So we are trying to provide some opportunities for that, while also being cautious, because so many of you are in this very vulnerable category, and your safety is our greatest concern. So as we move through this, we are, as we always are, really seeking your patience and understanding. I keep coming back to this quote from the University of Virginia, the president there, James Ryan. This has been true since we started discussing moving to this new location, and it continues to be a really useful quote to look back on. You know, we are going to do things too quick for some people, too slow for others. We're going to do too much, too little. In our heart, you know, we all know where we want to go, and that's where our aspirations and our realities intersect. We're going to join each other on this imperfect journey that hopefully we can make as safe as we can. So with that, I can open it up to some questions. I'll stop sharing my screen so you can see each other again.
Just want to say hello.
Hello. Marianne, I see you. Let's see if we can unmute you.
How do we go about signing up for these new programs that we're going to be offering?
You're going to have to do that over the phone. And so after this call, we'll post this presentation to the website, and I'll do a robocall out to everyone that'll have the schedule and the information. You'll have to pick the date and time that you'd like to come, and we'll start that process. So I expect we'll be doing that in the middle of this week. I want to really fine tune with the Board of Health tomorrow, make sure that they 100% are on board with all of the protocols, and then we'll be able to open it up for registration. So more information very, very soon coming on the specifics about the wheres and the whens.
Thank you, Kerri.
You'll have to call, but we love to talk to you. So.
You've been very helpful in the past.
Oh, good. I hope we're able to keep doing that. Anyone else have questions?
Gloria, I was just wondering if there are any other programs already planned, or just basically Renee and what was the other one?
Yoga.
Yoga. Are those the only two right now?
That's what we're starting with right now.
Okay.
So we're trying to just kind of take a small bite out of what we thought would be the biggest bang for our buck, so to speak, the things that are usually very, very well attended and that are conducive to offering out on the patio. We've picked a time that it's very shaded out there, so you should be able to enjoy a morning. And I can't imagine, we've been thinking all along how great it would be to have yoga on the patio with the wind and the birds. So we finally get to do that. I think as we proceed cautiously, we'll be able to add more things in.
So this isn't chair yoga.
We've got it set and perfect before we bite off too big of a chunk.
Right. This isn't chair yoga. This is regular yoga.
This is chair yoga.
Oh, it is chair yoga.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's
Thank
all
you.
seated. Everything we're offering is seated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kerri, I would like to mention too, because we have booked with Wingate and Norton an ice cream social or ice cream party socially distant. So it's going to be a drive-through ice cream party where Wingate of Norton is going to supply ice cream for everybody. You know, we really did try to work hard to think of a way to have it outdoor for everybody to be able to get together. Unfortunately, we know it's going to be too many people, and we just thought for safety we would do a drive-by. So you might see your crew kind of, I don't know, maybe dancing during the party or whatever. We'll have a good time. So I just wanted to mention that will be coming up. So we will post it on Facebook. We'll get an email out through Debbie's great emails that she sends and a robocall. So it'll be the middle of August.
Thank you, Sherry. Excellent point. That should be a lot of fun. If it isn't obvious, we desperately miss you all.
We desperately miss you all.
Who was that?
This is Barbara.
Oh, Barbara, go ahead.
Will you be calling people back to work soon?
Will I be calling people back to work soon?
The people that were working like the desk and helping out?
Our volunteers.
Yeah, volunteers.
Stay tuned. Working with the Board of Health on when that would be most appropriate, and really trying to make sure that we can do that in a way that we can achieve safe social distances. So stay tuned.
Can't wait.
We miss you.
I miss you guys too.
Other questions? Oh, I see Mary. Yes, Mary.
I was just going to ask, if you're limited to 12 people and you call in and they say, sorry, it's filled, do you want a waiting list?
I think we will maintain a wait list, definitely.
Okay. And then would you call back to say that you're okay to join that one?
I think just like anything else where we maintain a wait list.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Right.
All right.
I'm
Thank
hoping
you.
people can really consider others and not book themselves
Yes.
for everything, so that
Yes.
we can give
Have a
this opportunity to as many people as we can.
true, very true. Okay. Thank you, dear. Thanks for these
Absolutely.
efforts. Thank you.
Of course, our pleasure.
Kerri, this is Gloria. I'm a little confused. Like, if you have chair yoga and we sign up, that's for once a week, or how is it being done?
I can share that we have a once a week sit and be fit class, and we will have 2 sessions of yoga with Robin.
Okay,
And Robin is going to continue virtually offering her yoga class as well. So for people that that's working for, she will still be able to be
Okay.
seen on Zoom.
good,
Yes.
good.
Other questions? I'm looking through, see if I see any hands. Again, I really emphasize your patience. We want to do this so well so that we can expand, and just all of us give like a hopeful moment that things can continue as they are here in this state, so we can keep advancing and phasing in new things. We're just going to have to take it as we have been this whole time, kind of one day at a time. So we're biting off small bits here, but I hope it leads to bigger things and more as we are able to go along. But as long as we're able to take advantage of the summer weather, and we've got this beautiful spot in the back that is so conducive to offering a class like this, we're very, very fortunate to have it. Not all the other local council on aging have a spot like this that we can do that in. So I feel like we're ready. The team is excited about it. We're approaching it cautiously and optimistically.
Mhm.
Marianne, you're unmuted if you have another comment.
Okay. Kerri, the first come, is the 12 people going to be on a first come, first served basis? Or how do you get that?
Yes, it will be. And what we're hearing from other centers is that even though they're offering, however many spots they're offering, that they're not usually full to capacity. So I think we'll see what happens, obviously, not sure, but it's very fair to kind of look at what's happening in other centers that have started doing this phasing in already and see that perhaps it won't be full. Some people are still going to not be comfortable coming in. The classes might not be the ones that they are looking for. And if it's available virtually, some people will choose to continue doing that. So it's hard to predict what will happen, but certainly your response and the signups will help us to dictate to our next steps. We want to offer it as much as we can to as many people as we can.
Thank you.
I see Gloria again.
Yeah. I wanted to say, if you're not sure about one of these programs that are offered now, should we still register so we'll be registered for when we do want to do something, or should we just wait?
So if you're registering for a specific program, just as
Oh,
you
okay.
would here if you wanted to come and
Right.
do a class with Steve Avellino, for example. You
Okay.
need to pre-register. So you're registering in advance for the thing you'd like to come and attend on the date and the time.
Right, so you have to register each time.
Right. Just
Okay,
as you normally would.
okay.
What you
Now,
can do is get your waiver reviewed, signed, and in, and that will
Well,
be done for you.
That
I
I'd
highly
like to do.
recommend you do that so that you don't have to worry about that piece.
Okay, so can I call the office and have that faxed to me or something? No, emailed or?
I think you received Debbie's emails, right?
Yes,
So we'll send it with that email.
Great.
It'll come in one of the ones coming this week, so you'll have
Great.
it. If
thank you.
need
And
it
then I just
printed,
email it back to you?
you can.
Yeah,
You can.
all right. Thank you very much. You're doing a great job, you guys. I know it's not easy.
It hasn't been easy, but I
No.
think you have shown us how resilient you are through all of this. This has not been easy for anyone.
No, it hasn't. It's
And
been
to see all of you
terrible.
week after week and to see you on our Zoom calls, you are a resilient, amazing group.
I just had a quick question. This is Kathy Keep. When you talk about the waiver, now, will that waiver come in Debbie's email for everybody, or how does that work?
I'll be able to include it as an attachment.
Okay.
So you can just click on it and then print it out. But as Kerri mentioned, we can also mail them, we can drop them off, so we can make them readily available.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can
And
also
you're
post
doing
them
a
to the
great
Facebook
job.
as well. Okay, did somebody else have a question?
Yes, Mary White.
Go ahead, Mary.
If I do not have a printer, so if I could get a copy dropped off, would that be my way to go for the waiver?
We can do that.
Okay,
I'll keep a list right here.
We can also mail it. It probably just
I'll
takes
mail it. Yes,
days.
drop it off.
Yeah.
I'll mail it, Debbie. Thank you. That would be
You're
great.
welcome.
Mary White.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? I think Kerri got kicked out of the meeting.
Was it something she done?
I promise.
I think
didn't
she's
kick her out.
I noticed she was awfully quiet there at the end.
I was waiting for her to answer, and then I started panicking, saying, I guess I should be answering.
Yes.
Danielle, thank you for your nice note. We appreciate it. It's been tough without you guys, but we'll continue to just kind of push forward and see how things go and do the best we can to come up with some more things for you.
Yeah. And in addition to the waiver in the email, as soon as we have this presentation recorded and set to YouTube by Walpole Media Corp, I can add that link as well. So you can share that with people. We can get it out on the website. We can get it out via Facebook so people can see it. And we're always available for questions over the phone as well. So don't hesitate to call. Okay. So
Sounds
that-
good.
Any other questions? No?
Kerri is coming back on right now.
Okay.
I wonder if she doesn't have good Wi-Fi service maybe there.
We were having trouble in the office this
Yeah.
morning.
All right.
And
Well,
it just kicked me out, but I'm back.
Yeah.
Sorry
It was
about that.
nothing you said.
Kerri, this is Pat Gordon. And I just wanted to tell all of you that even though we're separated from the center, there's such a connection. And this is exciting that something here is reopening. So I just want to thank you for everything you're doing.
That means so much. And it's so good for the team to hear. I always tell you guys, you have the best team. And this really difficult time has proven it. You have the best team here in Walpole working on your behalf. And it means so much to hear that you feel connected and that we are really doing the things that we can to help you feel that way. Thank you.
And it's greatly appreciated.
Hello, this is Monique.
Oh, hi,
Hello,
Monique.
you hear me? Hi. I thank you very much for everything you've been doing. You've been great. And my question is, as I understand, the waiver can be signed now for any future programs that someone is interested in.
Yes.
Okay.
Just as you would, you probably don't even remember, those of you who come so often to the center, you signed on that kiosk and signed off on that waiver, and it's just one time. So it's that waiver that we've adapted. So you'll just have to sign it the one time, and we'll keep it on
Okay.
file.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, we're so excited to be able to kind of phase into this first phase with you. And we just, encourage you all to keep making great decisions for yourself, safety-wise. Keep up with your social distancing. Think about, what is going to make sense for you specifically. And remember that we're always here. It looks different, but your staff is still here. We haven't been anywhere, and we're going to continue to be here throughout this. So we look forward to your feedback and, taking this new journey with us.
Thank you,
all for
Kerri.
coming
Thank you,
on.
Gary.
I have a
Thank
question.
you.
I've got a
I have a
question.
question. Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm listening and I'm thinking you can't hear.
I can hear you. What's your question?
When are you opening? I came in late on you.
Oh, this will begin the first week in August. And so that
Okay.
schedule will be forthcoming to you of exactly what we're offering and when.
Oh, okay. That's great. I'm so happy to hear that.
That's just around the corner.
I
1
know.
week.
I can't wait. I miss you guys all so much.
We miss you too.
I know.
It'll be different. You know, it's different. Everything has been different. And I want to just keep emphasizing how go with the flow with change you have all needed to be, constantly pivoting just as we have in the way that you function and all the new things you've had to learn and practice along the way. So this is just one more thing, but you're pros at coping with change now. You've been doing it for a long time since March. So hang
I know.
in there.
I'm a good Dewey.
We're all in this together still.
Right.
We're here.
Okay. Thank you for answering my question.
Of course. So again, we're going to make sure that the presentation slides that we went through are going to go up on the web. I'm going to do that right now. So if you were late to the presentation or you want to look back at some of the information, you can pull that right up from the website. And we'll be sending some messages out about the exact details for the specific programming that's coming later.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you. I don't have a computer.
Do
So
you
where
get
could I find?
our robocalls?
I do. I get your robocall. Right.
So you're definitely going to get the announcement. And then if you would like the presentation, I have a way I can print it and
Okay.
drop it in the mail to you. So
Well, thank you.
give us
Yeah.
a call at the front desk and I'd be happy to do that for you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Okay. You're always so good.
Kerri?
Anything else? Yes. Hi, Josette.
Hi. On our meeting our board meeting on Friday, you mentioned Trish Fisher and the COVID trackers and how your software deals with all of that. And I think that I've had questions about it and such, that if you would kind of touch on that lightly,
Okay.
as to how you're keeping track of everything so people know that phase of part of this phasing in is being also addressed.
Thank you, Josette. Yes, that's a little more detailed, but I think it's important. So an excellent point. You know, our My Senior Center software, that signing in at the kiosk that we always did, is how we could track everyone who's been in the building, and how beautiful to have it kind of built in already when we're hearing about contact tracing. So if there were ever a situation where somebody is exposed or positive and they say, I was at the COA, we would very, very quickly and easily be able to provide the Board of Health with the list of every single person who is at an exposure risk, who may have encountered that person. So that is why it is essential that you pre-register. So we have that pre-registration and answer those health questionnaire questions, and also sign in on the day of, because sometimes plans change. So by signing in at the kiosk using the handheld scanner, we'll have it in real time, kind of time-stamped when you were with us. Very vitally important. And I think contact tracing is part of what has helped Massachusetts do so well in response to this crisis. Trish Fisher is, as Josette mentioned, the public health nurse here with the Board of Health. And she, along with the school nurses, have been doing the contact tracing here in town. And so for every case that they receive, they're following up. Where have you been? Who have you seen? Who may be at risk? And they're reaching out to those people to tell them that they have been exposed in some way and helping guide the decisions that they make after that. That's how we're going to continue in the direction that we're going, is great contact tracing. And so the software that we have is perfect to help us contact trace. So we're definitely utilizing it the best way possible to help us with that. but hopefully we never, ever need it. Like Murphy's Law, if you have it, you never need it, right? Hope.
Yeah.
Does that help, Josette?
Yes, I think that some people are a little bit apprehensive, and I think that if they are aware of the fact that you have gone and the town has gone that extra step for their safety, that takes a little bit of the anxiety down for them.
I agree. And, you know, we have long ago adapted the My Senior Center kiosk sign-ins as a piece of the process here. And so many of you, it's second nature. You come in and you sign in. That's not necessarily the case at other centers who are now trying to find ways to utilize that system. But the software designers themselves built in a COVID report into that. So we can access that information with one button press. Excellent. So yes, I think you're right. It does help to provide a little bit of a safeguard and safety net when it comes to exposure risk.
Outstanding job, ladies.
Thank you. Well, I hope we're going to see some of you in person here soon, and we're going to enjoy seeing those of you we see virtually this way all along. Everyone hang in there. If you've got a you question, like I mentioned before, if it's a very specific to you question that you have for us, we're here, we're available. Give us a call at the center today, tomorrow, whenever you're comfortable. We'd be happy to answer that question. Everybody hang in there, drink your water. It's so hot out there today. Keep yourselves cool, and we'll see you soon.